Finding time to work on my solo game dev project was not easy. A lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings. In this video, I'm going to share how I succeeded in making the time while working a full-time job, becoming a father, and maintaining my general life as a whole. It wasn't easy, but I do believe strongly that if you can learn and take away some of these tips, that you can succeed and make time for your projects. As a caveat, not all of these things will work for everyone. Everyone's different, everyone has their own situations, so take that with a grain of salt. These things worked for me and my life, and I hope that I can impart some value onto you. Let's start with a question. Are you sure you want to spend your time working on game development or whatever you're doing? If you aren't sure about it, you probably won't spend time working on it. So if you're sure about it, then the first step in the process is defining the goal and the value of this thing that you're gonna do. What does it mean to you to do this? And what do you want to get out of it? If you're able to conceptualize those things, it will help put this whole thing in perspective, because everyone has 24 hours to them in a day, and most of that time is spent sleeping or working our day jobs or living life. So a side project means that you are effectively giving up time from something else that's important to you in favor of that side project, whatever it is. When you're able to define the goals and the values of that side project and why you want to do this thing, it makes it easier for you to justify spending time on them instead of those other things that are also going to be very important to you. Okay, so you're sure you want to do this. You've got your goals, you've got your values, it's all figured out, but now we need to figure out how to carve out some time. So how do we do this? The two most obvious solutions, which really is the same thing, is either you wake up early in the day and you spend an hour doing something before you start your day, or you go to sleep an hour later. By doing that, you're giving yourself an hour, or maybe two, if you can do both of those things, to work on code before and after your day. It's not easy. Sleep is a valuable thing to a lot of people, and if you're already strapped for sleep, you might not be able to do that. It's also not a great long-term solution, because sleep is important for your mental and physical health. So you want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out by sleeping 3 hours a night in favor of trying to bang out your side project. For a short-term burst, or when your motivation levels are high, cutting an hour or two of sleep is something that I definitely did for Zeroed, and it can definitely work for you to get started on the project. But the reason you're here is for something unique, and this is my take on what really helped get Zeroed out the door. So I had a conversation with my wife. I told her about how this idea was important to me, about why I wanted to do this. I talked about the goals and the values that I had already come up with, and because I was able to do that, I was able to carve out additional time throughout the day or the week. There were times where I would eat dinner in front of my computer rather than with the family. This isn't an everyday thing. It's not something to abuse. It's something to set up when you need that extra push, that extra few hours to really figure something out. That's when you go and you say, hey, can I take a Saturday and just work on this? Because I need to get this done. I'm feeling the motivation, and I need to just go. I realize not everyone will have it. It's not something available to everybody out there, but if you have it, try to find ways to tap into that kind of resource. Finally, there is one other thing that I feel like I need to address, and that is the never-ending stream of distractions out there. Whether it's Netflix, TikTok, playing video games, Instagram, whatever it is, there's no shortage of ways for us to get distracted from the side projects that we want to do. And the reason these distractions are so powerful is because they offer a huge amount of short-term joy at the cost of long-term benefit. I like to try and break those two things out, because when you're trying to come up with a side project, usually these things are for long-term benefit. They're not necessarily a short-term gain of enjoyment, because a lot of times a side project or just learning something difficult can be hard and challenging, and those things are not fun to do in the short term. But in the longer term, the value of them is there, and that's why we choose to do these things. So the way that I do this is I set up my office without a TV. I wear noise canceling headphones so that I can block out the family around me and try and really concentrate. I put on some kind of ambient music that's easy to listen to without having to pay too much attention, and I just get started writing code. Once I'm started, once I have those first few lines down and I have a plan for what I want to do, I'm usually locked in and I'm good to go for a few hours. It's just a matter of getting started. Set your room up to be successful for you. Get rid of the distractions and make progress on your projects. With that, here's another great video for you to watch if you're searching for ways to brainstorm your next game project. And if you aren't subscribed already, do go down there and click that button so that you can watch the next video here on the channel. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.